Hey boys and girls, today we're going to be reading chapter 8 of Ferdinand Magellan. I hope you're enjoying our story still and hearing about the adventures of Ferdinand Magellan. So last time we read, they had just gone through the Strait of what we now call the Strait of Magellan. It was that tiny strip, that strait, remember, was a narrow body of water that connects two larger bodies of water. And they've come to the Pacific Ocean. They had no idea how big the Pacific Ocean was, though. They thought, oh, we should be at India in no time. And remember, they wanted to get to India because of the spices and the silk and the gold, right? They thought this adventure would make them rich. And that was Ferdinand and the crew members that were hoping to get very wealthy off of this. So they have just come to the Pacific Ocean. They're thinking, no time now, we'll be in India. But let's read on and see. All through December, Ferdinand expected to spy India. He went north, then west. There was nothing but water. No land, no birds, only sharks. The night sky looked strange. Ferdinand didn't recognize the stars. 6 weeks passed. That's longer than a month. The sea was still calm, but on board there was trouble. With little to do, the crew was bored, and tempers were short. Fights broke out. Worse yet, supplies were running out. Ferdinand grew gloomy. On January 10th, 1521, he flew into a rage. Grabbing his charts, he flung them overboard. All right, here's a picture of Ferdinand. You see him throwing his charts overboard. What good were they? He couldn't find India. He was stuck in this never-ending ocean. Soon, all the remaining drinking water had turned yellow. It smelled so bad. The men held their noses while they drank. There was only enough for 1 sip a day. Their solid food was going bad too. Biscuits crumbled into powder full of worms. The meat was so rotten it glowed in the dark. Plus, there were long white maggots crawling through it. The men ate the food anyway, and when it ran out, they chewed wood chips, sawdust, and leather roasted over coals. Then they ate the rats. By this time, every member of the crew was sick. With no fresh fruits or vegetables, they had developed scurvy. Scurvy is an illness caused by lack of vitamin C from lack of fresh fruits and vegetables. Their gums began to bleed, turn blue, and puff up. When the men tried to chew, their teeth fell out. Black circles shadowed their eyes. Sores covered their thin bodies. Their noses bled. Their elbows, knees, and ankles became swollen. A third of the crew was so weak, the men couldn't walk. One by one, they died and were buried at sea. But Ferdinand didn't seem sick. Some historians think that he had a secret supply of fruit jam, rich in vitamin C. If he had this, why didn't he share it? Was it just selfishness? Perhaps, but perhaps not. As the captain, he needed to lead the expedition, and to do that, he had to stay healthy. In any case, Ferdinand knew he would die too if more food wasn't found. Then there was a miracle. On January 25th, a small island came into sight. All right, see here? There's the boat. They found a small island. I wonder where they're at. It had no trees. Let's see. It had no trees or fresh water, but there were fish, crabs, and birds. Plenty of food. When it rained, the men trapped the rainwater in barrels for fresh drinking water. See, look, here's raining and they're catching it in the barrels. That one sailor has his mouth open catching the fresh water. Once again, the ships were set out to sea, hoping that India was close. But another 6 weeks passed. This is a large ocean, the Pacific Ocean. Again, they ran out of food. With the equator nearby, the sun scorched the decks. What do you think it means to scorch the decks? The sun scorched the decks. Well, think. The equator, remember, it goes around the middle of our globe. That's the hottest part on our planet. So if the sun is scorching it, the sun is really hot. It's like burning. It's scorching it. It's really hot. Okay? So let's see where I was. The sun scorched the decks. By now, 29 men were dead, and most of the survivors could hardly move. This isn't looking very good. In early March, Ferdinand and his men ate the last of the biscuit crumbs and sawdust. They sipped the last of the water. If they didn't reach land soon, everyone would starve. In 98 days, they had sailed 9,000 miles, and they were more lost than ever. All right, so I'm going to show you this picture, okay? And I showed you on the globe last time. I may grab my globe in a minute. Okay, so remember, they started over here. Let's see. In Spain. Where am I at? Spain, right? They went down the coast of Africa and crossed here over to South America. Remember, this was called the doldrums, where they got stuck. Then they sailed all the way down South America, found the little strait, the little narrow piece. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. The little narrow part here. And now they're out in this Pacific Ocean. Look how big it is. It's never ending, right? So here they go, passing. And they're going to land here in just a minute. We haven't read that far. But these little islands today are called Guam. Okay, so they're just thinking, we're not going to make it. We've run out of food and supplies. Only one man was still strong enough to climb to the lookout's post. When he got there, he couldn't believe what he saw. Out of the mist rose 3 islands with green mountains and waterfalls. Praise God! Land! Land! He cried. It was the country we now call Guam. The men dragged themselves to the railing, praying, crying, and hugging one another. They found land. All right, so that's the end of chapter 8. What I want you to do right now, I want you to get a blank piece of paper, and I would like for you to draw this last chapter I read. Listen to it again, and I want you to draw a picture of what you hear, okay? Out of the mist rose 3 islands with green mountains and waterfalls. Praise God, land, land. Okay, so they're on the boat and they're looking out at the lookout post, and what did they see? 3 islands. You remember what an island is? Remember, it's just a piece of land that has water all the way around it, like Hawaii, one of our states. It's an island. So let me grab my globe really quickly. All right, don't turn it off. Okay, here we are. Thought you were going to turn off your computer. I'm not done yet. Okay, so look here. Let's see, Miss Shaw, where are we at? So they've just crossed. Look at this ocean. My goodness, it's gigantic. Look, from this finger all the way. I mean, no wonder why they thought we've landed. There's nothing out here, right? And they're traveling along the equator, so it got really, really hot. And they were just floating out here, the Pacific Ocean. And then finally, they came to, let's see, it should be right here. Oh, that's Hawaii. Guam. Right there. Okay, so I want you to draw a picture of what they saw as they saw their first land. They saw 3 islands with green mountains and waterfalls. Draw a picture, color it in really good, and then I want your mom to take a picture of it and send it to me. I'd love to see your pictures. Okay, go explorers, have a great day, and I will see you guys later. Bye.